So I'm going to start right now. The last time we talked about introduction to Python. We learned some few things. We said Python was named after a Monty Python show, which was a show back in the 19th. And Python is a very easy, very simple language. Python is a very easy and very simple language, very easy to learn, very simple. Then we also said we created our first Python program, which was Hello World, which we used to print function. To do that, we just do this. Okay? Just use the print function to create your first Hello World program, which will display on your screen. Just like that, simple. Shift then down there you have your output. We also say the owner or the builder of Python was Guido van der Sar. He created the programming language as a hobby. He just seated and decided, I'm bored, let me do something constructive. And he built us our now famous Python. So today we are going to learn about data types and functions. Then we are going to go to our topic 3, which is storing data. We store data in variables. We're going to learn about variables in a few, but first of all, let's go through data types. There are very many different types of data types. And very many. There are numerical data types, numbers. There is Boolean, there is string, there is sequence, there is binary. There are very, very many, but in this short course, we'll learn about the 3 major ones, which are the numeric ones, integers, floating, then the Boolean, which is true and false, then the string data types. Okay. So we'll start first with the numeric data types. Numeric data types I'm talking about here, integers. Whole numbers in Python are called integers. Whole numbers in Python are called integers. Integers, I'm talking whole numbers about, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way to 9 and other more whole numbers, which you know. In Python, they are called integers. Decimal point numbers in Python are called floating points numbers, floats, or floats. Then as textual data in Python is called string, and in most programming languages are called strings. So in Python, to write an integer is very easy. To write an integer, you just write x is equals to 8. You've already written your integer. Let's say a is equals to 10. That's already your integer. But all numbers are called integers. And to write an integer, you just specify it directly. You just write the variable and the whole number. That's how you write your integer. But there's a way which you can know what type of, can get the data type of any object by using a function. This is called the type function. Let's say you're writing a variable x is equals to, let's say, 9. So if you want to know this, what type of data type is this, right? So when you run your code, it tells you your data type is an integer class. It's in the class of integers, int. Let's say x, you want to pass out a string. X is string. When you run your code, you'll get tells you your data type is in the class of string or is a string. In Python, we use quotes or quotation double symbol to display or to input a string data type. What else? Booleans. True booleans result in two values, true or false. Boolean is if you want to know the value. If it's true or false, you use boolean. Boolean is a data type. Then I'm going to show you in a bit how we do it. So this is how you know your data type is a boolean. This is how you use the boolean data type. But this is how you use the boolean data type. Let's say you have a variable a which is equals to 6. Let's say b, you have another variable b is equals to 9. You want to know if 9 will be equal to 6. So you write out a program. If a is equals to b, then you'll want your program to print out true. Let's say 6 is equals to 9. Is it true? So you write print, sorry, is equals to b, print true. Okay, for you to write the true or in Boolean, it must start with a capital letter. Then else print false. You run your code, you'll find that a which is 6 is not equal to 9, so it will return false. This is a simple form of Boolean on how to use the Boolean data type. So we have learned about the integers, an integer or an int, Boolean, and string. So we go to floats. So to know if a data type is a float, floats are decimal numbers. Floats are decimal numbers. So in our case, we have, let's say, something like and variable a is equals to 10.9. So we want to know what type of data is this, or what data type is this. So we use the print function together with the type function. And inside the type parameters, we put our variable, which is a. When we run this, it tells us our data type is float. So float or floating points are decimal numbers in Python. So those are our 3 main data types in Python. So we have said giving inputs to a program. We use the input function and equal operator to assign equal. Okay, we use this is a variable, call it my input. Then the default input data type is always a string. So you don't need to use the string function. You can just leave it like that, and Python will portray whatever the user will input as a string. But when you want the user to input an integer, you need to specify. You need to specify to Python that's an integer or you want an integer. If you want the user's input, you want the user to input an integer, you have to specify. But for string, you don't have to specify. You just come in normally. So in our case, my input here is the variable which will store the value entered by the user. The input function accepts a string. So the default is a string that will be shown to the user. Let's say the output of the program will look like this. Enter a number. When you enter 50, this will be a string, it will not be an integer because you have not specified. If we add print, it will print the integer, or no, the string. So adding two numbers. For example, you want the user now to input integers, and so that you can add them. This here is already a program. So you will ask first for the numbers, perform operation on the numbers, addition, multiplication, whatever you want. Then tell them the result. That's the basic algorithm. So what we need, a variable to hold the first number. Let's call it number one, the second number 2. Then a third variable to store sum of number 1 and number 2. Let's call the third variable sum. What else? We need the input and the print functions and plus and equal or assignment operator to store the result. And this is how you'll write the program. We accept input from the user using input function. It is in string form. So you need to add two numbers which are integers. So we'll need to convert it into numeric form. So we use the int function to convert the integer and float function to convert to a float. So you can guess, let's say the first number is 5, second number is 4. The sum of these two numbers will be 9. So to print this out, you write a third line where you tell the program to print. Similarly, we can write programs for subtraction or any other mathematical operation we need. Keep in mind that the input function will wait for the user until a value is entered. So the user does not enter a value, it won't do anything. And if you have specified the value as an integer and the user enters a string or words, it will print out an error or it will give an error. So make sure the user knows what he is inputting or they will get errors. So which function is used to take input in Python? It's the input function. How can we take user's name as input in Python? So Python does not need a semicolon. So this is wrong. The syntax is wrong. You just write it inside the quotation marks. You are good to go. Summarize, we learned input is used to take users' input. Also, we learned how to utilize values stored in variables to perform operations and print the result to the screen. So that's all for today. And let's see another question. So this is how you tell the user to input. You can specify using int and float functions, or you can just write it like that. It can be taken as a string without any, don't pass out any, yeah, it will be considered as a string.